Oh, there we are. Okay. We are live on Facebook and on Instagram. Hey guys, how are you doing? Let me just address the elephant in the room really quickly. I must really like you guys because I told you I would be here today at this time, and I was not going to go back on my word. So here I am. I'm here. I look like I've been beaten up, although I promise I haven't. I had a laser facial treatment done earlier this week. On Monday, you can search the hashtag Halo Laser and see what that's all about. I've gotten so many direct messages asking me what I had done. But basically, when I was pregnant, I got melasma. Do y'all know what that is? It's like brown spots on your face, and so this laser was supposed to take care of it, and it has just like swollen up my whole face and neck. And yesterday I could barely open my eyes. But today I got out of bed and I'm here, and we are going to do this live. So I want to talk, a lot of you entered in questions or submitted questions. I'm going to get to those at the end. But hey everyone who's joining, good to see you guys. But I just want to go ahead and dive in. Today we're going to be talking about your biggest business mistake, okay? So this is really my favorite thing to talk about, and if you're a bloomer, someone who has purchased my course and gone through it, the business behind the blooms, hey guys, then you know this. It's about hiring help. It is my number one favorite topic to talk about. I could talk about it all day, although I promise you I'll try to keep it short. Thanks for the hearts, appreciate it. This is the one thing that I feel like so many entrepreneurs, or at least the ones that I'm working with, that they fail to prioritize, okay? And it's the one thing that I believe is absolutely essential to make your business grow. And I don't just say this, like I've seen it. I have seen the results time and time again, how stretching it and like hiring somebody has brought in just so much more money, so much more revenue, so much more income because of this risk that I took to hire someone to do a certain job, okay? And listen, I just believe that until you make your first effective hire, it has to be effective, and we'll talk about that in a minute, you're limiting the profit potential of your business. I guarantee it, okay? So that's obviously a problem, right? So what do we do about that? Well, the first thing that I want to do is I want to really ask you a couple of tough questions. And the first one is, I read this in Emily Lay's book, Grace Not Perfection. And she asks in one of her chapters, what do you really want? What do you really want? And this is why I always say, like, shut down the noise, only follow people that encourage you and inspire you, because there's so much noise, especially with social media. I mean, we already have noise, right? We have parenting noise, we have money noise, we have all kinds of noise. And so to then, on top of that, add social media and be looking at the way maybe someone else in your town is doing business, and you're like, I should be doing that. I mean, they're offering that service, I need to be offering that service. That just isn't true. And so that's why I always say, like, shut all that down and let's focus on you and what you really want, because you were born, and I'm going to sound a little wacky and spiritual today, but that's okay, it's just kind of who I am. But you were born with a specific set of gifts. We all were. We all have a specific set of strengths, and then we have things that we're not so great at. My friend Avani likes to laugh and say that I should have a t-shirt and it should be like screen printed on a pillow and everything, the phrase stay in your lane, because I say it all the time. I'm just a big believer in, I want to stay in my lane and I want everyone else to stay in theirs, because we all have things that we're really good at and we all have things that we're not so good at, and we need to be able to admit that, right? And once we can really recognize that, my goodness, how things can really begin to change for the better, right? So it starts with really asking, like, what do you really want? And here's what I want you to answer with that. Do you really want a growing, sustainable, profitable business? Or are you okay with this like little side hustle, or this big side hustle, or being a one-woman show, or just doing a handful of weddings a year in addition to your full-time corporate job? Or do you just think that you want this full-time business because you feel like you're a failure if you don't do that. You know what I mean? Like, let's really ask ourselves that question. I mean, for me, it was a no-brainer. Like, I wanted to own my own business. All of you know this story, or most of you do, but for me, it was always about owning my own business. I didn't care what the business was. I just wanted to be in control of it. I wanted to be able to create my own schedule, pick my kids up from school, take them to school, all those good things, right? And so, for me, that was very important. I needed it to be profitable. I needed it to be sustainable. So I began working towards those goals, right? But just because that's what I want, and just because that's what's working for me, does not mean that that's what you want. It's also okay to check in on this annually, okay? I ask myself every year, I'll say, like in November of 2018, that's when I kind of do all this, is in November of every year. So what do I want for 2019? Like, what do I want? It's too much if I think about 2020 and 2021 and 2025. Like, if you told me I'd be doing what I'm doing right now today in 10 years, would I like it or not? I think that's a good question to ask yourself. If what you're doing today, you would really be excited about doing in 10 years, like you'd be like, I can't wait to be, when I'm 10 years from now and I'm still doing this, that's going to be amazing. Or does that give you like a pit in your stomach? Well, then that tells you right there that there might need to be some change. If you're content, then I think that's amazing. But you really need to ask yourself, what do you want? And not what does everyone else expect of me, or what does society expect of me? Because let me just say that that's just all BS, okay? Nobody really cares. Nobody really cares at all. You just need to do you, okay? So let's get back to if you really want a business, okay? So now we're speaking to people who they've said, yes, I want this business to be my business. I want it to be profitable. I want it to be sustainable. I want to be a good business owner, yada, yada, yada. Because let me just say, there are so many people around that say that they're business owners. And to be honest, like, I'm like, to each his own, that's fine. You can say you're a business owner all day long. But for those of us who really are business owners and we take it really seriously and we pay our taxes and we have, sales tax IDs and we have EIN numbers and we have, and we're doing everything right and we're doing all the responsibilities that come with actually being a business owner, it's a little, what's the word I'm trying to find? It's a little of a slap in the face when everybody and their dog is calling themselves a business owner, okay? And so if you want to be a legit business owner, and that's why I use the word legit a lot, if you want to legit be a business owner and legit make money and have a business that's going to grow and have legs and sustainability, and you want to be able to take care of people and employ people and all that stuff, this is what we need to know, okay? So if that's what you want, then you have to start building your team. You just have to. There's no, I don't want to say no because I don't want to make some crazy sweeping declaration. For the most part, I don't know of any super uber successful business that they did it all on their own. They may have done it on their own for the first, 22 miles, but then maybe they picked up some other people at the end to help them get across the finish line, okay? I mean, Bethany Frankel, she grew that Skinny Girl brand. She had a two-bedroom apartment, and she had her office in that second bedroom, but there were still 4 of them, 2 of them for a long time, and then it grew to 4, and now she has quite a bit more of employees, right? But you can't really get yourself to that next level when you're doing it all on your own. And what I've found through mentoring a lot of people in the wedding industry is several reasons why you are reluctant to hire help. So, this is a problem. This is a problem. If you are this reluctant to hire help and you've been saying over and over again that you want to hire help and you're still not doing it, you're not making it a priority. So let's look at what some of these are. You can't afford it. That's what I hear the most. Here's the deal. You can. It just depends on what you're willing to sacrifice. If you have to hire based on commission, do that. If you need to cut your own salary, I promise it's going to be worth it. I didn't bring home a salary for 2 years in order to pay Danae and Kelly. And they're still with me today. So, this is important. And the work that they were able to take off of my plate allowed me to do work I needed to do, which really grew the business, and it grew the income, and it grew the revenue, and all these things, right? And I saw how effective that was, and I have continued to make hires along the way. Now, some of these things aren't necessarily like employee hires. It's just, what can you take off your plate, okay? And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But it's important, like, for you to really realize. I worked with a girl or a lady in Colorado a couple years ago, and I mean, we really like looked through everything. We looked through her bank statements and her credit card statements and everything, and it was like, okay, well, if you gave up that $60 a month membership at the gym, you live in Colorado, like, it's gorgeous, go to a park and run. If you were to give that up, you could pay someone else that $60 a month to just get you started, just to work a few hours, you know, to get you going, to help. I mean, even if you have to start there with just hiring someone for 5 hours a month, you know, but just get started. And once you start to see how beneficial it is going to just make all of the difference for you, and then you're not going to be able to stop. But the other one is that you literally don't know how. Like, you just freeze when you think about it. Figuring out the payroll and the tax and the 1099s, that just is so overwhelming to you, and it scares you, and you're already drowning, and that's the last thing you need, so you're just going to keep going at it like you're doing it, right? So maybe your first hire should be retaining an accountant or having a bookkeeper, okay? Now, this is what I was talking about a second ago. This isn't necessarily an employee of yours, but it is outsourcing that work to someone else so that you're no longer having to do the bookkeeping. I had an appointment with my bookkeeper this morning at 8:30. We have one once a month, every single month, and it is about 30 minutes long, and we go through everything. I see exactly what came in that month. I see exactly what went out that month. I know where we are for the year towards my sales goal, and I know what I need to do to keep going, okay? Do you know that I used to do all that myself? And it took not just hours, it took me days, because that's not my strength. And that was the work that I ended up taking home. And that was the work that I ended up doing when I'm sitting in my bed at night and my husband is right beside me and my daughter might want me to, you know, go play with her or whatever. Like, I'm doing that instead of being present in my life and instead of being there for my loved ones. And I say this all the time, and I'll say it again. When you're on your deathbed, that's the stuff you're going to be mad at, okay? That's the stuff you're going to be really disappointed in yourself about. You're going to go, why did I spend all that time at night, like on my computer when my husband was right there? I could have been talking to him. I could have been hanging out with my kids. Why did I think that that was so necessary? When really, if you will just do the work and you will look into it and you will start to do your due diligence, this is something that I'm noticing that is really becoming a bit of annoying to me, is people don't do their due diligence. Like, they don't even take 10 minutes to Google search something or to pick up the phone and call and say, how much are your services? If I met with you monthly, what could we do? Could you give me a break? Could you give me a deal? Like, I negotiate things all the time. And you just have to make an effort. If this is like speaking to you at all, can you give me some hearts or something in that Instagram live? I'd love to see it. If you have questions, let me know. I'm going to try to answer them at the end. But regardless, you can't let one day of problem solving keep you from a future of increased profitability and productivity. Okay? You just can't do that. And here's the other thing. And I have a mastermind, and we meet every month, and we spoke the other day, and I really thought they didn't. I just was making a joke. I was like, you're going to quit after today, aren't you? Because I've been a little rough. I'm known for giving some tough love, and this particular person was having a really difficult time with an employee that they already had. And I said, you don't need them. Like, you know you don't need them. And you've known for 8 months you didn't need them. And I said, if you cannot go up to that person and release them and fire them, you have no business being a business owner. None. And that's the truth. If you cannot effectively hire someone and effectively fire someone when needed, you don't have any business being a business owner. So that's why we go back and I say, what do you really want? Do you want to have this fun side hobby where it's all about fun and it's all about, you just want to make the flowers and do the creative work and all that? Or do you want a legit business? Because if you want a legit business, people, I'm here to tell you there's more to it than just putting a pretty flower arrangement together. And that's okay if that's what you want. But you have to decide that for yourself, and you have to make that determination, and then you have to go towards that, okay? We had someone come from Chicago and help us last year for 3 different weddings. And one of the things that she said that I love to this day is she said to me, do you know what I think I really want? I don't think I want my own business anymore. I think I just want to do contract labor work for other people. Because I love this. I just love coming in and I love doing the floral work, but none of this is really my responsibility as far as if the clients aren't happy or ordering those flowers or did we stay on budget or any of that. I just get to do the fun thing. And guess what? That person now does contract labor for all kinds of people and is making more money than she did when she had her own business. Okay? So what is it that you really want? Let's figure that out. Let's decide it. And then you have to try that. Because you're not going to get clarity on it until you experience it. Does that make sense? You've got to try things out. So the same thing with this is another point about hiring a team. The reason you're not hiring a team is because you've been burned before. Raise your hand if you've been burned before. I have twice. Now here's the thing. Today I can sit here and say those were 2 of the best experiences I ever had. Now when I was in the middle of it, it wasn't so good. But today, I now know exactly who I'm looking for, how to hire, the questions to ask, the red flags to look for. I know the contracts that I have in place are solid, they're legit. We did a new hire just recently, and I mean, I knew to go and to get a completely new contract for this person because it was a role that we've never hired before. And I knew that there were specific things that weren't in our regular employee contract that needed to be put in that. You know why? Because I'm a business owner and I'm a responsible business owner. And I am not only responsible for the 5 people in my family, I'm responsible for my employees and I'm responsible for their families. I take that responsibility very seriously. So that's why I say, if you do not have the balls really to fire someone, then you have no business being a business owner. And I think that should help you kind of answer and clarify if you really need to be a full-on business owner or if you are okay with just doing the fun stuff. But if you're a business owner, that doesn't exist. There's no business owner that only gets to do fun things. Now, the further you get along and the more hires you make, the more, oh dear, my Facebook live just ended. Okay, well, we're just going to hang out with you, Instagram. Facebook was like, you've been talking too long. We're just going to stop you. But anyway, so back to my point is the more people that you hire, the more that you're going to effectively hire. Because here's the other thing. You don't need this huge team, right? You can do, Kelly and I alone, with Danae helping with wedding stuff, Kelly and I alone, we did BBB. We put that out there. We did, you know what I mean? Like, there's things that you can do and get off the ground with a very, very, very small team. But once you start to see how much better your life gets when you can relinquish some of the tasks that are necessary for your business, the more you want to hire other people, okay? Because you can see, I believe with all my heart, the more strengths that you can bring into a business, the better your business is going to be. And guess what? I only have a few business strengths, okay? We all have like a top 5 business strengths, and I want as many of those as I can get into my business because I am very know thyself. I know that there are things that I am good at, and I will stand confidently and say, I'm good at that. I'm real good at that. But then there are lots of things that I'm going to look you square in the eye and go, that's not my strength. That's not me. I'm not great at the tech stuff. I need someone else to do that. I am not great at the ad stuff. I need someone else to run that. Like, I will say that all day long, but I'm hiring someone who is an expert in that area, who is an expert at tech, who is an expert. I mean, I'll give you an example. Last week, well, y'all know, most of you know this, I have a brand manager, and her name is Catherine of Crim Brands, and she's amazing. She did my brand and everything. Well, I needed some, I just wasn't feeling super happy with like my Instagram story slides, and we have some new stuff coming up, and I wanted to be able to really do that well, and I thought, you know what? I know how to use Illustrator. Kelly knows how to use Illustrator, but like, Catherine built this brand for us. She created it, she designed it, it's beautiful. And it might take me, because I'm gonna be a perfectionist at it and everything, it might take me 2 days to make all those slides. And that's 2 whole days, that's 2 whole business days, that's 10 hours, that man, I could be getting a lot more done. And time is money. And if I just hire that work out to Catherine, it's gonna come back to me, I'm gonna probably get it faster, I'm going to probably like it a whole lot more. And like I said, I actually got something done while that was being done. And you gotta just kind of start thinking that way. It's all about efficiency, right? So I get it if you've been burned before. You had someone work for you before and it didn't end well, the work wasn't helpful or whatever, the rhythm wasn't good. You hired a friend and it got awkward. Like I've been there too. I totally understand all those things, but you have to look at that as a lesson so that you can now have a blessing. You've got to look at that as a lesson and go, okay, that didn't work. Let's talk about why it didn't work. And let's talk about how I can make sure that never happens again. When I hired a friend and it didn't work out well, I then made the decision I'm never, ever, ever hiring friends or family ever again. Never. And I've stuck to that. I have also bled that into my client work. I'm not ever gonna work for a friend or a family member or something like that. Every single time that you hire someone and it doesn't work out, it's getting you closer to you as a business owner, to you as a boss, to you as a leader, knowing how to hire effectively, okay? And it takes a little time. You can't expect, if you get lucky on the first time, then oh my gosh, well good job. But guess what? We're never gonna get there until we get started. Okay, I was telling somebody this about Pinterest the other day because as y'all know, we're wrapping up on our Pinterest course for wedding professionals and we're so excited about it. We're really uncomplicating the whole thing. But I said, you're not gonna see results for about 7 or 8 months. But the sooner you get started, the sooner you're gonna see the results. It's the same with hiring, okay? Here's another one. You don't know what help you need. You just know that you need help. You know you're barely keeping up with the workload, but you don't even know what you would or could delegate. Does that sound familiar? I actually had in my direct messages today when I asked on Instastory, do you have any questions? And somebody said, I don't know what to delegate. People say I need to hire someone, but what am I hiring them for? We're gonna talk about that. You have control issues. Raise your hand if you have some control issues. You've been going at it alone for so long that you truly believe no one can do any part of your job better than you. Here's what I have learned this year. It was in December, and I was really kind of reflecting on what went well, what didn't go well, what do I want for next year. And what I really came to realize is that for me, I've got to be the face of this business, I've got to be the voice of this business, I have to be the leader, I have to be the delegator. Hi, everybody. I've got to be the delegator, but all the other things, I don't need to be. I need to lead a team and be like, this is what I'm thinking, and have them kind of brainstorm and help with it and do those things, right? So it can still be your idea. It can still be your vision. It can still be your thoughts. But someone else could actually manually plug in the copy into a blog for you. You know what I mean? Those kinds of things. Or rename your images for you for SEO purposes, for your website, so that people can find you better, right? So there's lots of different things that you could hire someone to do. And the other one is that you're embarrassed. This is the last one I'm going to talk about, but you're embarrassed. You're embarrassed because you don't want anyone to look at your email box because you've got so many unread emails, you don't even know where to start. You're so embarrassed. You're so embarrassed because you don't have any systems. And if someone comes in, they're going to see just how much of a fraud you really are, right? Because that's what we feel like when people are like, how's business? And we say it's going great, but really we're drowning. We feel like fraud. I have found that the more honest I am, and I don't get personal with my employees. It's a rule that I'm like, listen, I went into my own business so that I can choose the people that I work around every day. And I don't deal with drama. I don't need to know your boyfriend's name or where you're having dinner tonight. I don't need to know any of that. We're here to work, okay? But I'm going to be very honest with them about things. here's what's coming in, here's what's going out, here's what we need to work on. And I find just having that very open communication and being very honest with them about things really builds a lot of trust, okay? Builds a lot of trust. And everyone thinks, and I talk about this greatly in the Business Behind the Blooms, but everyone thinks that the only way that you can hire someone is to pay them a salary or hourly. Hourly is one of the worst things you can do as a business owner, is pay someone hourly. And I go into really great detail about that in the team building chapter in the Business Behind the Blooms. And I don't for free talk a lot about pay structure and all of that, because that is something that's in there. But I'm here to tell you there are other ways that you can pay people that will protect you as a business owner. You can do commissions. You want to, if you can hire someone who's money motivated, so they're more willing to sell. There's lots of different strategies with that, okay? You have to open your mind. I am an entrepreneur in all aspects of my life, not just in business, in all aspects of my life. I wish I could shut it off sometimes, but I can't go anywhere without thinking or saying out loud, there's got to be a better way to do this. Like, I think about that every time I'm on an airplane and we all get up to like leave. I'm like, there's got to be a better system than this. Like, what can we do to make this better? Or I think about that oftentimes with my daughter's school or my boys' school. I'm like, I think there's a better way to do that. I just always am thinking that, and you have to think that way too. Instead of just having this like fixed mindset and going, that's a no for me, you have to be like, okay, I don't like that option, but what's another way that I can do this, right? So I can really relate to all of these things. I really can. So I can tell you with confidence that while these are valid concerns, they're keeping you from achieving the big goals that you have for your business. So your business success will only increase as you build a diverse team. I firmly believe that. Just like a financial advisor would tell you to diversify your investment portfolio, a business advisor would tell you to diversify the skills and the gifts of your team. Okay? So here are some encouragements I have for you about team building, and then I'm going to answer your questions. So even though I truly believe that I have the ability to learn any skill that I need to be successful, I recognize that I don't need to do it all. I'm just not naturally gifted in everything, right? The way that other people are. Kelly has learner. That's one of her top strengths. I'm so thankful for that, because can I tell you, watching a YouTube tutorial video is like my idea of just not a good time. Like, that's not interesting to me. I don't think that's fun whatsoever. She loves it, and she's really good at it. So guess what? When we have a new program that we're trying to use or anything, she loves doing that. And I'm not having to, what I would say, waste my time doing it, because that's her strength, right? I need you to ask yourself, how much time am I wasting doing things that I don't like to do and don't play to my strengths? What else could I be doing with that time, and how could that time translate to money made or time gained? Let me just say that I only work 5 hours a day, and people don't believe me when I say that. Like, they really don't. They're like, whatever. I really do. I only work 5 hours a day, and that is because I'm able to delegate so much, and I'm able to focus my work day on what only I can do. If I can delegate it, I'm going to delegate it. But if it's something that only I can do, then that's the step that I'm working on. And those kinds of things are the ideas, the visions, the content that I want to put out there, those kinds of things. What else could you be doing with that time? And then when you determine what work you most enjoy, it's going to free you up mentally and emotionally. If you're feeling burned out, you likely need to delegate so you can focus on the things that fill you up. Now, we wrote a blog post all about this, and our next newsletter that comes out, and if you're not on the newsletter list, you can get on there by going through the link in my bio. We are giving away a freebie. It's a 10-page freebie. It's a step-by-step guide on how to build your team, okay? And now, people who are bloomers in here, this is not the whole chapter of BBB. Obviously, a whole lot more about this, and a lot more detail, and an inside look of exactly who I hire and what I pay them is in the Business Behind the Blooms. This is just giving you a taste. This just gives you a taste to get excited about it and for you to kind of start thinking. Now, what I want to show you really quickly that you're going to get in this freebie it goes out on the 27th is this very, very simple little list. of what you love and what you don't love. Just print this out and write it down. What do you love doing? What do you not love doing? And then put it somewhere where you can see it. Even if you know with every fiber of your being that there's no way you could hire somebody right now. Use this as almost like a vision board, like a wish list, like a dream list. And now it's kind of out there in the universe, right? It's out there. You've recognized it to the point that you've written it down. You're going to be able to look at it, and you are going to be able to really, when someone does come along that fits what you need, you're going to be able to recognize it. So really, it just kind of starts with that. What do you love and what do you not love? Okay, and then I just want to finish this off before I answer your questions with, it really just starts with you. Like if you are really serious about being a business owner and about having a really profitable and sustainable business, this starts and ends with you. This is your responsibility. And it's also your responsibility to notice when members of your team have too much on their plate. It's your responsibility to go, do you need some help? Do I need to hire someone else to take some of these things off of your plate so that you can focus on what you do best? This is your responsibility. And here's what I believe with all of my heart and soul. I was put on this earth to be a business owner. I was put on this earth to lead a team. I don't know for how long, but for right now, that's what I'm doing. And here's the thing. When this all ends, if the people that work for me have learned nothing, then I have failed. I can get emotional thinking about it. My job is to enhance their life, to teach them things that they can really use in the world, okay? So even if you get a college student to come intern for you or whatever, you have to take that seriously as a business owner, okay? Don't micromanage too much. Give people the freedom to get their job done the way that it's best for them to get it done. As long as they get it done, why do you care how they did it? You know what I mean? So really kind of take accountability for how you are as a business owner, and that it is your responsibility to look after these people and to make sure that they're all doing okay. Okay, so get excited about the freebie. Let me answer some of the questions that were submitted. Was that helpful at all? Give me like a heart or something. And tell me if that was helpful, because I hope it was. Because I did come in here with a swollen face and everything to share this. Okay. Do you work on Sundays? Any specific day you take as a day to rest? I work from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. If I need a day of rest, I will take it as far as during the week. But thank you for all the hearts. But Saturday and Sunday, I don't work unless I have a wedding or unless it's scheduled on there, like I have a speaking engagement. A lot of speaking engagements are on the weekends. But for the most part, Sunday is family day. And it's important. You need that time to rejuvenate. And I need that every day, which is why I have the whole, like, when 2 o'clock hits, this computer is shut down and I'm not opening it again until 8 o'clock the next work day. Someone says, I lost a potential client because I don't have styling services. What styling services can I offer? So I think that's I've never had anyone like specifically ask me for that, but I do think that there's more and more now on blogs and stuff that brides are looking at and stuff on Pinterest that will say styling by so-and-so. And so it's something that brides are starting to pay attention to. So I think I would use that as an opportunity, if that were me, to ask that person, well, what do you think of when you think of styling? Like, what do you need styled? So that, because it might be stuff that you already do. Like if somebody said to me, well, I want somebody to arrange the boutonnieres for the photographer. Well, I do that anyway. So yeah, I'm a stylist, whatever. You know what I mean? Like you can ask the questions, get clarification. I always say, one of the things I don't ever do is wonder. I'm not ever going to wonder. My husband is a wonderer. Every day of our life, he's like, I wonder, da-da-da. And I'm like, just find out the answer. And so I always find out the answer. So even if you have to email them or whatever, just say, what is a stylist? Because what a stylist is to them and what the definition of a stylist is, it might be really different. And so it might be that you could, if you do what that person's asking, then you can, if someone ever else asks you that, you can be like, yeah, I do that too. You know, I don't want to say that and like, there are actual stylists who are amazing, and I'm not trying to like discredit their job, because I've hired stylists for shoots and things because they're better at that than me. Stay in your lane, know your lane, and they're going to be better at that than I am. And so I think you just need to get clarification of what does this person consider a stylist, so that you can simply say, yes, I do that, or no, I don't. I love this question. What do you think of building a she shed workshop in your backyard as opposed to overhead for a studio? And I love this idea, and let me tell you why. So I was in LA a couple of weeks ago, and I tried out like a different workout class every day. And one of the ones that I did, it was called LEK Fit or something. And do y'all know Busy Phillips? It's like her personal trainer. And I was looking it up, and this is in her backyard. So she has her home, and she has a gate around her home. So about 30 minutes before the class, they send you a code to the gate, and you go in the gate, and then there's a code to another gate to get into the backyard. And in the backyard is this separate building that she has converted into a like workout studio. And there's her kids' bikes, and it was just really cool. And I thought that was a really great example of using what you already have and not taking on this additional mortgage or rent, somewhere else. So I'm all for it. I would look that up. I'd look her up or look it up. If you go to our blog, there's a blog post about working out with Princess Anna, because I work out with Kristen Bell. Mm-hmm. But in there it gives you, I think, the LEK Fitness. If it doesn't, it's on the next one, but just Google LEK Fitness and you'll find it. But it's really cool. What resources would you recommend to learn the logistics of hiring employees? I would recommend the Business Behind the Blooms, because it works for me. But I don't know. I'm sure there's other books or podcasts out there. You can always go to podcasts and search team building or whatever. So I would probably do that if I was in your shoes. But as far as like an actual resource, I'm going to suggest the Business Behind the Blooms, which you can get on the wait list by going to the link in my bio. Okay. How do you handle immediate family or close friends who don't care about your business? This really hurts me. I think it's fascinating how many people are struggling with this. I wrote a blog post on this, and Kelly, you can put it maybe in the comment section, but it's called The Lonely Side of Entrepreneurship. And if you read that, I think you're really going to feel listened to, and you're going to feel heard, you're going to feel seen, because I've felt all of that. And I have really just kind of come to the conclusion that work, it doesn't mean as much to other people as it does to me. Okay. Like, work is not a big part of my mom's life. Like, that's not what brings her joy and all this stuff. So it's not what she's naturally going to ask about. Right. I used to really struggle when I would go out to dinner with my friends and no one would ask me about my work more than just like, how's work? Let's on to the next. And I realized that's not something that they want to talk about with them. Like, they're not going to want the question to go back to them. Well, let's talk deeply about your work, because it's not as important to them as it is to me. And it's my responsibility to find things that, and to accept that, and to know that that's not them not caring about me. That just means that's not a common interest. And I don't want to force anyone to have a conversation with me that isn't interesting to them. So really taking the time to kind of categorize the people in your life and owning it and go, you know what? Like, my mom just isn't going to be someone who asks me about my work, and that's okay. I can accept that and find other things that we have in common that we can talk about, or I can just wallow in it and not ever be happy to see her, and that's my choice. So I think that, you really have to look at it that way. But go read that blog post. Kelly just put it on there, and I think you're really going to feel a lot. The last question I have is, other than jasmine, is there a particular flower that you use a lot? Yes, ranunculus. I am not ever going to do an order without jasmine or ranunculus. I think that ranunculus just kind of saves the day for any kind of arrangement. Okay, guys, that's it. I hope that you found this helpful and beneficial. I hope that you'll look out for the next newsletter. We've got the Pinterest course coming up soon. You can get on the wait list. All of this are through the links in my bio. The freebie is coming out soon about team building. You can get on the BBB wait list. If you need mentoring or whatever, you can reach out to us. And thanks for being a part of this. I really appreciate it. And I hope that y'all have a fantastic day. And I will see y'all next time. Bye, guys.